Makes you wonder why I didn't put for Shenhe on my FTP account. Nah, they don't need it. My FTP account actually clears the Spiral Abyss easier than my main account. Wait, what? Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Zhang Li, and welcome to another Genshin Impact video. Since I recently had a polling session on Shenha in the weapon banner, it's time to revamp my team. So in today's video, we're gonna be taking a look at my newly updated Spiral Abyss team. I'll discuss my thoughts when team building and go over weapons, artifacts, talents, and even constellations for my main account. We'll also have some gameplay footage at the end as well, to see how they are in action. Before we do jump into it, guys, if you do like the video, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. This will greatly help our channel to grow and help with the YouTube algorithm and recommend the video to other viewers. Now, without any further ado, let's jump right into it. To start, we're going to be using the team builder inside the Spiral Abyss to provide some visuals and make it easier to follow along. So, for my first team, we're going to be using Eula as my main DPS. For stats, she's currently at level 90 with 2,385 attack, crit rate 69.5, crit damage 192.5, energy recharge 129.2, and lastly, physical damage 108.3, which are pretty respectable stats. I was lucky and fortunate enough to get the Wolf Gravestone from the standard banner, which is a great weapon on Eula and her current weapon at level 90 R1. For artifacts, we'll be mixing and matching 2-piece Pale Flame and 2-piece Bloodstain, providing a solid 50% physical damage increase. I recently changed this up from 4-piece Pale Flame because I was very lucky and basically rolled a Bloodstain Feather that was almost full crit rate. So, I decided to change up the sets to have higher crit rate, Constellation 0 and Talents 999. With Eula, she has multiple sources of consistent damage, but at the same time, an insane burst that deals lots of damage. The issue is that it has a high energy cost at 80, so she might have some energy issues. That's why we're gonna add in the Raiden Shogun as well. Raiden Shogun is level 90 with 1,752 attack, crit rate 62.9, crit damage 158. Energy recharge is leading the charge with 268.5 whopping percent, and electric damage 67.4. For weapon, we're going with the Catch at level 90 R5 because it's just an insane weapon that literally gives her everything she needs. This weapon is easily the best event weapon we received because a lot of characters can use it. For artifacts, of course 4-piece Emblem to further improve her energy recharge and burst damage. By far her best in slot for artifacts. Constellation 0 and Talent 699. Eula and Raiden Shogun are one of the best duos in the games because they complement each other so well. First of all, our team can now trigger Super Conduct, which is great for any physical damage dealer. We already mentioned it, but Eula's burst is no joke because of the high multiplier. Raiden Shogun's elemental skill, Baleful Omen, will further boost Eula's elemental burst damage based on the energy cost of said burst. Since Eula's energy cost is 80, she's getting a huge boost. Raiden Shogun mitigated the high energy cost issue by serving as a battery for Eula and boosting her burst damage. At the same time though, characters with high energy costs are great with Raiden Shogun because they will help her gain more resolve stacks and in return, boost her damage. Both characters have a pretty long burst cooldown as well, but because both characters want to stay active on the field for about 7 seconds or so, you can have a quick swap rotation between bursts and not have to worry about the cooldown, which is actually pretty fun by the way. Next up is the one and only Shenha, who's actually the newest addition to our team. She's at level 90 with 3,447 attack, crit rate 66 on the dot, crit damage 134.7, energy recharge 134.3, and 12% all elemental damage. For weapon, we pulled on the weapon banner for the first time on my main account and got the Calamity Queller, which is at level 90 R1 and where our 12% elemental damage came from. For artifacts, attack is very important on Shenha, and what better way to gain attack than 2-piece Gladiator and 2-piece Shimenawas. Constellation 0 and Talent 699. Shenha is a great addition to our team because she boosts all types of damage by 15% for the party with her elemental skill. She also has cryo and physical resistance shred along with Eula, so this will help with any resistances enemies might have. As an added bonus, she'll boost Eula's cryo damage as well. Eula might not deal crazy amounts of cryo damage, but her cryo multipliers are actually pretty strong. And there's a limit to how many times Shenhe's Icy Quill can trigger, so you generally want strong multipliers to not waste a buff. We'll mainly be doing her press activation to increase elemental skill and burst damage, and the hold activation to increase normal attack damage when Eula is stacking Grimheart. Once Eula has 2 stacks of Grimheart, then we'll use Shenhe's press activation to increase her elemental skill and burst for insane damage. Now finally, to round up party 1, we're going to be using the acting Grandmaster Jean. Jean is at level 80 with 1412 attack, crit rate 52.4, crit damage 139.4, energy recharge 203.6, and animal damage 46.6. For a weapon, she's currently using Festering Desire at level 90 R5. Festering Desire is another amazing event weapon, especially since it boosts elemental skills, damage, and crit rate. And let me tell you, Jean's Galeblade is no laughing matter. For artifacts, I haven't really had the chance to farm for Vivi, so we're improvising and using 4-piece Noblesse instead to provide some buffs for the party. Constellation 0 and talent 686. With the Spiral Abyss this time around, a healer is recommended because the Rift Hounds have some ability that damages the entire party over time. Jean has an insane burst heal that will keep the party sustained. Her elemental skill is a very good battery as well, with only a 6-second cooldown, and because she has 4-piece Noblesse, she will provide some party buffs as well. Moving on to our next party, we're gonna be using Zhao as my main DPS. Zhao is level 90 and currently at 2,247 attack, crit rate 83.3, crit damage 192.2, energy recharge 119.4, and animal damage 61.6. Weapon is my favorite spear in the game, Jade Spear, at level 90 R1. Artifacts 2-piece Vivi for extra animal damage, and then 2-piece Shimenawas because attack is actually pretty good on Zhao. Constellation 0, and talents 999. My main target on the weapon banner was actually the Jade Spear because this weapon looks so good, especially on Zhao. When you get the Jade Spear stacked up as well, it has this really cool effect that looks very glowy. Ooh. Now, despite not having a dedicated 4-piece artifact set, Zhao still does insane amounts of damage with his plunges. But there is a risk with his plunge attacks if it gets interrupted because he can take fall damage or run into some bugs. To avoid this issue, we're gonna throw in another Archon to solve the issue. Zhang Li. Zhang Li is at level 90 with 47,958 HP and 1,085 attack. Crit rate 77.5, crit damage 132.4, energy recharge 135.5, and geo damage 28.8. For a weapon, we're going with Deathmatch at level 90 R1. He already has a lot of HP, so we're gonna boost up his crit rate to maintain some damage. Artifacts, 2-piece Melolith and 2-piece Emblem. Constellation is at 0 and talents 199. Now, we didn't really run the Pale Frame and Tenacity of the Melolith domain too many times, so I couldn't really get a 4-piece for him. But that's fine, because Zhang Li is mainly going to be supporting Zhao with an Unbreakable Shield, and therefore, HP is very important on him. It just so happened we had a couple good emblem pieces with HP. So now Zhao's plunges won't get interrupted, but his greatest enemy is still himself since he drains his own HP when he wields the Yaksha Mask. Rift Hounds also bleed out opponents, so we'll need a healer. What better way to boost Zhao's damage and sustain him than with the hidden 5-star Bennett? Bennett is at level 80-90 with 1,561 attack. Crit rate is on the lower end with 48.5, crit damage 105.2, energy recharge 204, pyro damage 61.6, and his hidden stat, physical damage at 41.3. I was again very lucky to get another weapon on the standard banner, and we got Aquila Favonia, which is at level 90 R1. Aquila is a great weapon on Bennett because it gives him a very high base attack to buff Zhao and where his physical damage is coming from. Artifacts, only 2-piece Crimson for now. I definitely have better artifacts lying around, but I'll need to swap around and such, but for now, we'll just rock this. Constellation at C3 and talents 199. The Rift Hound's bleed are no joke, and Bennett's burst only heals the active character that's on it. But we should be fine because Zhang Li's shield will negate any other source of damage. Now, we have a shielder, healer, and buffer, but we kind of lack some battery power to maintain Zhao's burst. Originally, I did have Jean with Zhao because Jean just heals and battery him like no tomorrow. But I swapped the two because Bennett just boosts Zhao's damage so much. Party 1 also had a lot of damage already, so it's good to spread it out a bit. To help Zhao with his battery issues, we're gonna add in Rosaria. Rosaria is at level 80 with 1,132 attack, crit rate 55.2, crit damage 141.7, energy recharge 191.9, and cryo damage 46.6. Weapon is gonna be level 70 R2 Favonius Lance. Artifacts. My F2P account is actually the Crow and Freeze main, so I sadly never had the chance to run Blizzard Straya Domain. But 4-piece emblem will do nicely, and what we're running right now. Makes you wonder why I didn't pull for Shenhe on my F2P account. Nah, they don't need it. My F2P account actually clears the Spiral Abyss easier than my main account. Wait, what? Constellation is sadly C1, but hopefully we can get C2 soon for extra burst duration, but talents are 166. With the Favonius Lance, Rosaria will be a great battery for the team, especially since her elemental skill cooldown is only 6 seconds. With a pretty good energy recharge as well in 4-piece emblem, her burst will do some pretty good damage instead of Bennett to open up with Melt. Overall, as a main damage dealer, I would generally try to aim for about 60 to 70% crit rate at the least to maintain consistent damage. Once you reach that range, get your crit damage as high as possible. You don't want to overdo it with crit rate because eventually over-investing into that stat can have less impact. Crit rate is to maintain consistent damage while crit damage is to deal more damage. Of course, finding a balance is important because they both work hand in hand, but keep in mind that while you're also in the Spiral Abyss, you have buffs that can help you, which consist of crit rate and crit damage. So leave some room for crit rate, otherwise that buff might partially go to waste. Both our teams now have a main damage dealer, healer and shielder, and supports to boost overall damage and battery. Now finally guys, let's take both teams to the Spiral Abyss and see what they can do. Alrighty guys, we unfortunately had the worst luck with buffs with 2 EM and only 1 burst increase, which only really works on waifu team comp. Sorry, Zhao. But thank you so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to smash that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to also turn that notification bell so you don't miss out on any newly released videos. I've been Zhang Li, and until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next one.